Hello, and welcome to Up Close and Personal with Analia Benz. I'm your host, Helene Lipson. For our listeners not yet acquainted with Analia, she was born in Chile and entered this world directly from source energy without any karmic debt, and she came into this life with a sense of knowingness on a pure mission. Her soul's purpose is to raise the vibrational level of the planet to a critical point that will allow a transitioning into the new paradigm, the new level of awareness for everything, for the planet and everything in it, every rock, every insect, every person. And to do that job, Analia is a spiritual catalyst, awakening those asleep, helping those already aware to reach a higher vibrational level. And she's even traveled to different geographical areas in various ways for the sake of cleansing it so that the vibration can come through properly. Today on Up Close and Personal, we will be talking about the process Analia uses in her life to deal with difficult, emotionally charged situations. Life has its twists and turns that bring out deep emotional issues stored within us. In today's episode, we'll talk with Analia about how she's dealt with some of the difficult traumatic issues in her life and learn about how to incorporate some of these concepts and practices into our own lives. Hello, Analia.
Hi, how are you today?
I am just fine and I'm delighted to talk to you. Today's episode is about dealing with emotional issues. And certainly, life has handed you some twists and turns, and I want to hear how you've dealt with some of the deepest, most traumatic emotional issues and have been able to come out in such a way where you're able to still not only cope, but help everybody around you make it through.
Yeah, definitely there was a lot of drama in my life. And when I was very small, of course, I had no tools on how to deal with these things. The first emotional huge hit that I received was when I learned that wars were still happening on the planet. I was really small at the time. I think I was about 3 years old. And it was really traumatic, very extremely traumatic. I had, because you see, when there was the energy of the physical body as well as the soul construct that came in, and I had, as a soul construct, no way of, they had no knowledge and no tools, no way of knowing how to deal with the vibrations here on this planet, whether they involved pain, whether that pain was physical, emotional, or any other way. And so it's basically being thrown at the deep end of the pool, right?
Mm.
And this is not just my own personal experience, but I know that many, many people who have come from higher dimensional vibrations or planets have had this problem when they come in. They have no sense of wrongdoing. They have no knowing of right and wrong. They have no, well, I should really reword that, and they have no sense of wrong. They
Mm.
have no sense of pain or the infliction of pain and suffering onto another person. So those were all things that I didn't know about. Now, with regards to suffering itself, like I've mentioned before, and I mentioned many times in different interviews and in my website, suffering is the holding on to pain way past the event that made it happen. Now, when we are in the midst of pain, whether it's physical or emotional, the key there that I learned was to feel it, to have the experience, because it's happening, right? When whether we have an emotional traumatic event, and there were many of those in my personal life, from having lost my parents during the coup, when my mother died in 1995, and through a very traumatic first marriage, and various other things that happened to me personally. Those things were feeling the emotion at the time. You have to allow that to happen because it hits you at a very physical level and subtle energetic level, the emotional body too. Now, what the difference would be, I suppose, is that I would not hold on to it. The event would happen, even if, for example, to process a loss, a terrible loss, would take sometimes months or years.
Mm-hmm.
I would allow it to experience without holding on to it. Without holding on to it. Now, certain situations happened in my life that were continuous. The pain wouldn't go away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I was able to know what it means for somebody to hold on to something. And as soon as, for example, this physical or emotional situation would go away because the person or location was far away from me, immediately all the pain would go with that. And that taught me that, yeah, it's about the inflicting of suffering onto our emotional or physical bodies. If that doesn't go away, then it's extremely difficult to move past it, right? Or to continue on. It can disable us at an energetic level. That's why when somebody has a chronic condition, for example, a physical chronic condition of pain, it's really hard for that person to move past it. And sometimes they have to bypass the pain in order to do their ascension work. And so that they've managed to go forth anyway. But I always say, my physical body is my Achilles heel. If I'm tired, hungry, dehydrated, I can be taken down, vibrationally speaking, very quickly, very, very quickly. So I have to really take care of my physical body. I have to really watch what I eat. I have to make sure that my physical conditions, my chronic conditions, I have an injury in my lower back, is taken care of all the time, and look after myself, my physical body really, really well, my emotional body as well. And so I'm not pulled into the drama and the lower vibrations of the planet. Now, when we get stuck in, when we do get pulled into the drama and we feel extremely angry, for example, or extremely sad, or are suffering, there is the processing methods that I use, and the main one is the fear processing exercises on the ascension101.com's website and the tools. That process really goes in really deeply and process it very quickly. Now, it doesn't involve any kind of intellectual analysis of the problem. It doesn't involve finding out where it came from. It's just looking at the energy, because all these things, all the emotions, all pain is vibration. That's all it is. It's a packet of vibration that's stuck in your field, whether it's a physical pain or emotional pain, mental pain. Is a vibrational package that's stuck in there. So when I get stuck in anger, somebody cuts me off or nearly crashes into me in the car or whatever, and I have my little boy in the car and I get angry
Mm-hmm.
at them, I immediately go in and see where the anger is, right? I get in there, and the other person who is trying to impinge in our vibration is irrelevant. They are completely and utterly irrelevant. They have nothing to do with how we react. Okay, so how we react is our responsibility, and it's all about moving away from reaction and moving into response, right? So
Mm-hmm.
even if we react in a very angry manner or painful manner, we're in the midst of suffering, we go in and we process that suffering, we process the anger, or that we process that fear in ourselves, in our own field, without judgment, without judging, oh, this fear in my body, in my emotional body is icky, yucky, I don't want it here, push it away, or I'm going to process it because I don't want it to be there anymore. No, it's not about that. It's about really allowing it to exist, allowing it to express in the emotion of fear, anger, or whatever, suffering, allowing that emotion to express really fully, and then embracing it and infusing that energy with light and love. And
Mhm.
that morphs it, that integrates it back into oneness, right? And that's how really I cope with all the whirlpool of emotions and energies. And this also helps when the emotional fears or whatever are being projected onto us at an artificial level, because there's technology out there now that's being used which artificially enhances and triggers centers and vibrations in our bodies to make us feel stress, or to make us feel fear or anger, and send us spinning. And
Hmm.
we can actually, if we process even those artificial projections in our own field, they can no longer affect us.
Hmm. But you actually can feel this too. The waves that come to us that create this energetic emotion. That's, I mean, these waves that are coming from an artificial source. You actually can feel it also.
Well, sometimes if there's anything inside of me that will resonate at that vibrational level, I will definitely feel it. Right? I will feel it, whether it's at a physical level or emotional level, mental level. I will feel them and I will process them immediately, and then I will no longer feel them. Right? Now, with regards to if there's something that is coming through that I have nothing inside of me to resonate with, I don't feel it, and I take my cues that something's happening from those people around me, or even my pets will sometimes react in certain ways, and I know something's coming through.
Hmm. How might the pets react, or what do they do that lets you know?
Well, my dog Fiona will puke.
Really?
Yeah, and she will pick with any strong emotion, whether it's a powerful, positive, happy emotion, when somebody that she loves comes in through the door and she'll get overexcited and she'll puke, or whether it's a very negative, low vibrational projection of emotion, she will feel it and she'll all of a sudden wake up and breath.
Wow.
And and she'll growl then or whatever, but she will react physically to the vibration as well.
So what I'm hearing, actually, you actually do the fear processing exercise and look at things and make it big and accept the emotion and let it grow, and then eventually send it up to source.
Well, I don't send it up to source. I would infuse it with light and love from source. Because source is not up. It's not up
Okay?
anywhere. Source is us, right? We are source.
And so we're infusing this inflamed idea or this notion that makes us angry with source.
We actually infuse the anger, not the idea. When you feel something and you think that thing is making me angry, it's not about the thing, it's about the angry. You find in your physical body where that angry feeling is, and that's what you process. That's what you process.
So the steps would be, if somebody perhaps cut you off, like you were saying earlier, cut you off while you were in the car. At first, you would feel an angry emotion. How could you cut us off like this? And then look at the emotion. Actually, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the process.
Yeah, that's right. I would initially fall into the drama, right? And be anger would vibrate all over my body, right? And sometimes the warrior would come in, right? Try to come in and, let's crash into them or something,
Mhm.
or let's beep at them, or let's swear at them, or whatever, or stick our finger at them and stuff. The warrior comes in, and then that's when I would catch it. Okay, where is it that I would allow the energy of anger to vibrate in my physical body, in my emotional body, really powerfully and strongly, and allow it to grow and grow and grow, and really express, really come out. And then often what happens, it just dissipates, it just gets spent, right? It just disappears. But if it lingers on, if it stays with us, then that's when I would embrace it and allow it. You're welcome here, anger, you're absolutely welcome in my field. And then infuse it with light and love,
Mhm.
embrace it and allow it to exist, And that's when it gets merged into that light and love. It gets merged back into us.
Fascinating. One more thing before closing that I do want to address with you. I want to talk about emotions that are not processed and what happens to our physical body as a result. I want to know, does emotional pain that is unprocessed and stored within you manifest into physical conditions?
Very often, yes. The emotional pain or the memory that's painful or whatever, again, it's all about vibration, it's all about energy. It's like a packet of enslaved energy that's vibrating in a very low vibrational level. And it's enslaved there at that vibrational low, it's like an instrument that's out of tune, or a string in an instrument that's out of tune. And it's a very enslaved packet of energy, source energy, that's vibrating there. And eventually it will try to get you to look at it and free it by becoming a physical condition. Once it's a physical condition, we can no longer ignore it or push it away. So then we start trying to treat it. However, when we treat it or when we look at it and process it as a vibration, then we don't have to worry about becoming up in the physical condition. And when it's already at a vibration at a physical level, then we can process it in exactly the same way. And I know at least of one person who cured herself of cancer just by sitting with it and allowing it to exist. She would go into meditative state and just allow the cancer to exist and grow and expand and express. And she went into the emotion that created it and everything else. She received no medical treatment. After a few weeks, she had completely cured herself of cancer. So it's possible, it's doable. It's all about vibration.
Tremendous. Tremendous. This was a fascinating program, and I'm so glad we got a chance to talk about dealing with deep emotional issues. Thank you so much, Analia. Join us next week on Up Close and Personal with Analia Benz. I'm your host, Helene Lipson. Until we meet again, love, light, and blessings to all. Namaste.